o'clock, and this is, in fact, their righteous indignation to the system.
All right. In case you're just joining us at home, it is 10:22 Eastern Time, 10:22 in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. A citywide curfew went into effect some 22 minutes ago, and there are people who are defying that, as you're watching live on your screens now here on CNN. I want to get now to one of our correspondents who's out there with that crowd. It's CNN's Ryan Young. Ryan, what are you seeing?
Well, right now we're in the backside of the crowd, and there's several people from the community who are yelling at these young folks to leave the street. They're hoping that they will go home for the curfew. And tell you, we were standing over here, and there were several young men throwing plastic bottles from our location over toward the police. And they got really serious when we saw them start throwing glass bottles, and they were hurling it in that direction. Of course, the police have moved up, and we can see them where they are, but there are several people who are standing out, and they are definitely yelling back at the community, people saying they do not want to leave. A lot of people say this is the line they want to draw right here in the middle of the street, and they want to confront police.
The line
but
in
the
the
community
sand,
members
folks.
who've been here throughout the day are working as hard as they can
Something
to
else
stop
is
that from
thrown.
happening. And here we go with the tear gas.
Tear gas. Uh-oh.
The tear gas has been fired. Everybody is
Can we get
running.
back to Ryan's shot, please?
Tear gas.
Thank you.
The tear gas canisters have been fired.
Right now.
We have several people.
Yep.
There we go. We are in the middle of it.
Okay, Ryan, let's just watch this. Let's just watch this. Let's watch this, Ryan.
Action, baby. All time. All night. Shit. The y'all nigga all night in the crump.
I think that these are just smoke devices.
The smoke starts to purge. And they're throwing them back.
You can hear us?
Just like in Kiev. Just like in Ferguson, baby.
That these are basically just
I'm sorry.
distractions.
I'm a little bit sleepy.
They were picked up and thrown
Let's
back
watch
at the
this.
police,
Let's
and
watch
that is now
this.
forcing the line to move. So now they're coming up, and they're moving the line up here.
Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for viewing.
We'll see what happens when they come up on us.
Let's just watch it a little bit, Chris, and hear police and the protesters.
Yeah, you got it.
This is from the 50. This is live streaming all day. They got a little smoke on the 50.
All right, Chris, it appears it's calmed a little bit. Can you attest to that for us?
Yeah, right now they're holding that line. They've thrown those flashbangs down. Jay and I are in front of where the police officers are right now. You can see the flashbang. They are not gas. This is not tear gas. This is not what we saw in Ferguson. They're not shooting any of their pepper bullets yet. There's a little bit of an acridness to it, but they were throwing them back at the officers that made the line come up. Now people have retreated down the street. There is one small group here in the front. They're shifting over there now to see their area of concentration, which is where they're getting the bottles from. Now, the pepper guns are what you're hearing going off now. When you hear those pops, that's them shooting these repellent pellets that shoot a powder out when they hit you that has the pepper spray, the CS powder in them.
What are we seeing in comparison to numbers between protesters and police officers?
The police are probably about 500 maybe, all the way around. And the people directly in front of them have laid out, but you probably have close to 1,000 people down the streets in two different directions. The police have not pursued in either direction. They haven't pursued in either direction right now. You can see down this way people have run, and they've gone straight down the street. The officers reorganized in front of them, and now they are tightening ranks to move directly down this street. And, you have young men in this crowd of police, young women in this crowd of police, white, brown.
So, Chris, I want you to stand by. I just want to hear from our other colleagues. Don't go anywhere. Jason, you said that you were right by the front line. And again, I want to tell our viewers that the media has permission to be there. Jason, is it this intense where you are? No, Jason. Ryan Young, what about you? Jason Carroll, are you there?
Testing, it's Jason. I can hear you.
Go ahead. What are you seeing?
I am Don, and I can tell you, maybe you can see what's happening right now as the line of officers there are about to move in once again. We saw some of those who were throwing some of the projectiles down in this direction. Some of them took off down the street, down Pennsylvania. Some of them still throwing projectiles. I'm going to back off of my photographer here so we keep somewhat of a safe distance, still trying to show you what's going on. Some of them still throwing glass bottles, covering their faces, some of them as they were throwing some of these objects, and then taking off down the street. Police using a great deal of restraint. As you can see, they kept their line out here in front of what's been going on down here on Pennsylvania Street. Very disappointing to some of the community activists who are out here trying so desperetely for so long to prevent this from happening.
They always say
you can
peace.
see a small
They
bit
always
of
say peace.
flame over there, still some smoke. It did its part in terms of dispersing the crowd for the most part. Still a few stragglers that still seem to be here. Police at this point using a great deal of restraint during some very tense moments here as some of these small number of rioters that are out here still throwing some projectiles, still making their presence known. Don.
So is it working? That's important. You pointed out. Is it working?
It is working. It's unfortunate for those in the community who work so hard to prevent even this from happening, as you know. Working, yes. Disappointing, even more so.
Chris Cuomo, my same question to you. The measures that police are taking now, is it working? Is it getting the ones who are defying this curfew, is it moving them off the street, or at least further back?
Yeah, yes, it is. I mean, but you know, this is a very intricate area. You know, you have streets that lead all over the place, and you only have this one phalanx of police officers right here, Don. So what they're doing is directing their energy toward where the things were being thrown at them. But you have people down the street here, went up the street this way, and down the street in front of them as well. So is it working? Yes. You no longer have the concentration of people here. Is everyone home at 10 o'clock? No. There is targeted pepper pellets being fired by that group of officers in the corner. You see them. You hear those pop, pop, pops. That's them shooting the pepper pellets at some people in the area over here where they've had some objects thrown at them. So that's the kind of volley going back and forth between those two groups. And there are definitely some harder core people down this street here who were throwing the glass bottles, which certainly changes the dynamic. When the glass comes at the officers, they start reconsidering their situation and they start to deploy the pepper pellets.
I want to check in with all of our correspondents. So we have Ryan Young there.
We are actually adjusting, walking back toward the... All right. Okay. So we're on the backside of the where everybody was running. You can see the police.
Go ahead, Ryan. Continue.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So we're on the backside of where everybody was running away from where police were shooting those pepper bullets. You can see police have a back area here where they're backing up to make sure that if people try to run back down this direction, they can easily stop them or apprehend them. They've also brought in towing trucks, and they're going to start towing cars from what we were told from earlier. So at this point, you can see the crowd has definitely lessened at this point, especially after that gas was in the area. People have definitely... Oh, hold on, man. I'm on TV, so I'll give me 2 seconds.
Well, we on TV now.
So definitely.
So you got why y'all out here past 10 o'clock? They got a 10 o'clock curfew.
So obviously
we
have somebody still here.
We'll get back to Ryan Young in just a little bit. So we're going to go back to my colleague, Chris Cuomo. Chris, there's some people who are, still on the street as we can see. And it appears some of them are bent on causing trouble, unfortunately. It doesn't appear to be as many people out on the street in your location that the tactics that police are using, at least for the moment, may be holding or working. For the moment.